In response to the COVID-19 pandemic, a number of people in Boston are mobilizing a whole new cottage industry, supplying face masks by the thousands. Among the leaders in the effort is a seamstress and community activist from Dorchester. To tell us how those masks are being produced and getting to where they're needed is the founder and organizer of the Boston Area Mask Initiative, Stephanie Cave. Thank you very much for being with us, Stephanie.
Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Stephanie, I think there were so many alarming things that were coming out a couple of months ago. Tell us what prompted you to go from being just another community activist who knew how to do things with fabrics to being the organizer of this whole new initiative.
Sure. Yes. As you mentioned, there were a lot of news reports coming out about how medical providers and frontline workers didn't have any PPE, or they were having difficulty getting it. So after seeing enough of those reports, I thought that it would be great if we could start organizing. I thought I'd start making masks myself, and I reached out to my networks of people I know who sew, my quilting friends, and other people in the community to see if there was any interest in sort of banding together. And there was. So we, over the course of a couple weeks, we sort of formalized everything and, figured out a way to get people started with if they needed supplies, if we could set up drop-off locations. So we did that in 3 different areas in our community, and then just found a way to stay connected through creating our Facebook page and our website.
Well, I'm only a mask wearer, and part of my learning curve is how much protection you needed from a mask and how you provide that. What did you learn?
Sure. I learned that there were, first of all, a lot of questions about this in the beginning, and I spent a lot of time talking with people, and ultimately we know that the masks slow the spread, and it's safe in tandem with keeping a safe distance and wearing the mask appropriately. It can help to slow the spread, especially for those who are asymptomatic or have an infection of some sort.
Well, I know there's a little mask snobbery about because, well, you don't have the N95 model. Of course, now it's taboo to wear them unless you're working in healthcare. But how much protection can a fairly simple mask provide? Let's say it was just made of cotton and maybe stuff a layer of coffee filter paper. Does that do much?
Yes, it certainly does. It helps more than it hurts. I don't have the statistic in front of me, but I think it's around like it provides 70% protection is what I've read.
Now, in other words, it provides protection to other people or protection to the person wearing the mask?
To other people, yes.
But where are these masks going right now, for the most part?
Sure. We are currently receiving requests from many different organizations. We supply some area hospitals, namely Boston Medical Center and Cambridge Health Alliance. We are getting requests from other frontline medical workers, people in long-term care facilities, senior living, assisted living, a lot of homeless shelters, food pantries, and organizations of the like, of similar nature.
Right. I guess the other thing that's going on here is that you've got all of these people connecting with each other and doing this work. How does that feel to you?
It feels great. I definitely feel like it's given me a personal sense of purpose during this pandemic. I remember in the beginning, sort of not even feeling focused on the pandemic itself, just feeling focused on a way that I could help people who were on the front lines. And I know that definitely this has created a community, even though many of us all of us are sort of distant from each other. We're connected online. We have there's so much collaboration going on. There's so much sharing of supplies and information and skills. And I know that other people also feel similarly in that it feels really good to have some added purpose during this time and to also make a difference. And we know from our profession, the requesters that are asking for the masks, that is really, really appreciated.
Because one of the things that occurs to me is that although I keep getting the message that putting a mask together is easy, anybody can do it. Maybe you don't even need a sewing machine, but I guess there are a lot of people who wouldn't wear a mask, like me, maybe, unless someone just put it on their head and said, put this on your face. Isn't that part of what you're accomplishing here too?
Yes, I think we're normalizing it. We're making it accessible, definitely, and I think yes, I think we're making them fun to wear, because there's so many fun fabrics out there. So if this is something that we've got to do, then we might as well make it as accessible and interesting and fun as possible.
Right. Yeah. What about the people that you're working with? Because some people in Boston might be totally unaware about this, unless you've been to a couple of fabric stores in the city. There really are people out there who are very creative with sewing and design. What about that population?
What would I say to them?
Well, I mean, this is a population that maybe a lot of people in Boston don't know
Oh
about.
yeah,
They
no,
make everything from
yeah.
from face masks to wedding gowns and prom gowns. There's a lot of talent and hard work going on with that.
There is, yeah, definitely. There's a lot of people from all backgrounds. We do have like seamstresses, quilters, people who are in other creative. We have the maker spaces in Boston also working with us and utilizing their like laser cutters to help us. We have people who are, web developers, project managers, that type of thing, who sewing or other crafts are their hobbies. And and we have people who have never sewn before that we've taught to sew on Zoom. So I'd say there are a lot of creative people, and even if they don't think they're creative, we're able to help kind of cultivate that during this time. So.
Well, you're not just a crafts person. You're also a community organizer. And a mask isn't just a mask. It's a message. How does that work?
Yeah. Part of what I really feel passionate about and driven with this project is to make a difference and be an advocate for people on the front lines and people who may not have a voice otherwise, or may not have access to the materials and resources they need to do their jobs and to keep their communities safe. So that's my main purpose in this. And yeah, that's really, it is so much more about than just making a mask for someone to wear. It's about standing up for people who may not have access to what they need.
This is a project that adds up. And of course, the easiest way to measure is how many masks you've made so far. I started figuring 20,000. Are you past that by now?
We're slightly past it. Yes, we're at 20,262 as of Sunday night, and so yeah, it's very exciting.
Chris, the other thing that's going on here is you must have a whole series of meetups with people online. What is that like?
It's great. It's actually more fun than you would think. It's We have Friday night sew-alongs, and anyone can join. We put out an event notice each week off our Facebook group, and people get together to just talk. We talk about what's going on in our lives, or people ask for tips about how to make masks. We've troubleshooted how to fix someone's sewing machine before, given sewing lessons. So it's a lot, and it's just a lot of it just helps you feel another way to help folks feel connected.
Well, I imagine there could always be more people who will hear you and decide that they want to get involved in some way. So what's the next thing they should be doing about that?
Sure. They can contact us on our website, bostonareamaskinitiative.com. We have a volunteer page, and you can sign up to be a maker. If you don't sew and don't want to sew, but you want to run things around the city and pick up masks and drop off supplies, you can sign up to do that. And then if you have other skills that you may want to offer us, because we are sort of getting pretty structured as a project and / organization, you can contact us by email.